Dr. Fauci, for the last time, did you or did you not kill hundreds of dogs?
For the last time, it was for the science.
I mean, Disney did release a film on Dr. Fauci, so I think it's very fair to assume that he's the Disney villain. Plus, Cruella de Vil didn't even go as far as Dr. Fauci did when it came to the treatment of puppies. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Ugriowski here of WeAreChange.org. And oh boy, do we have some crazy information to get into today. As of course, the conversation about the fourth shot has just begun. There's also some bombshell information about the cloak and dagger techniques used by the U.S. military intelligence agencies, as well as very surprising and yet awesome news coming out of Florida. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. But before we do that, the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is, of course, by Freedom Tunes, made by Seamus Coughlin, and he's a good guy. His latest videos is awesome. Tim Pool is one of the voices in there. Wonder if you could guess which one. He really does incredible work, and that's why I'm linking his channel down in the description below so you could watch more of his stuff, and he definitely deserves a follow. Now, I think it's fair to say that the situation in the world is very complex, but when it comes to China and the United States, you could argue that these countries are absolutely polar opposites when it comes to the policies that they are implementing. China, on one hand, is mining, exploring, and trying to produce record amounts of energy for itself, to the point where Chinese companies are literally creating more pollution than entire nations. Here in the United States, that was deindustrialized in favor of China by Rockefeller, Kissinger, and other ruling elites. We now at least have passports with X for non-binary, intersect, gender non-conforming people. Industry, jobs, social justice, woke doctrine. I mean, there's really no comparison there, to say the least. Along with new options for our passports, we also have massive amounts of corporate socialism for the military-industrial complex that is still in absolutely endless, pointless endeavors like the Syrian conflict, which the Biden administration just announced that the U.S. military will not be leaving anytime soon. Also in the United States, we have financial calamity coming our way because of the vast government intervention and corporate socialism. And while China rises in power and stature, it looks like here in the United States, the deep state is fighting with the deep state. This, to me, is perfectly represented by the Facebook whistleblower. And if the intelligence agencies aren't fighting themselves, they're also entrapping and setting up other Americans, like the absolutely, utterly insane story of Mr. Ray Epps, who appears to be a Fed-protected provocateur who looks like the main person that led the attack on the U.S. Capitol, and yet is still free to this day. This, as of course, we still do not know the direct involvement that the Federal Bureau of Investigations played on that day, as of course many of the details are still being kept secret away from the general public. In related, absolutely absurd U.S. intelligence news, we also have the development that former CIA Director Mike Pompeo is calling for the prosecution of over 30 plus sources who blew the whistle on him and his proposed plot to kidnap and assassinate a very important, prominent journalist. That journalist, of course, is Julian Assange, that is still pointlessly rotting away in jail right now, essentially for the crime of exposing the bigger lies told to you by government. In related, absolutely evil and unaccountable intelligence agency news, we're also finding out today that Prince Andrew has been given a deadline to when he has to answer the questions by his accuser, and a court has ordered that he must make himself available by July 14th in order to face questioning related to the women that are accusing him of absolutely horrible things that we can't even mention on this YouTube channel because we would be banned from even uploading. As of course, there are still a lot of intelligence agency connected individuals that were a part of Jeffrey Epstein's larger international racketeering and exploitation operation. Individuals like Leon Black, who are being investigated for forcing themselves in inhumane ways on many alleged fellow victims. An important story that's falling on deaf ears that the corporate media doesn't really like to talk about. Essentially, even when it came to the Epstein story, in the beginning they promoted Epstein as some kind of great guy. When information came out against him, they sometimes reluctantly talked about it. But essentially, I think it's fair to say that they wanted this story to go away, and it only has been as prominent as it has been because of independent journalism. Independent journalism that is being attacked more and more every day. There's many news outlets hit by this latest wave of censorship, including even left-wing publications like Novara Media, and you could definitely expect this to get a lot worse, as of course the founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, also a prominent Bilderberg member that financed a disinfo operation about Russian meddling of the U.S. elections, is linking up with no one other than George Soros himself as they are launching, quote, Good Information Inc., which, quote, will be striving to fact-check information. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know how that's going to turn out, and that's why I'm very happy I have my own platform where I get to do whatever I want, and that, of course, is LukeUncensored.com, where we have at least 7 years of hidden content, video footage, only available to you that is raw, unfiltered, uncensored, and we routinely do videos for. In today's video, we are going to be talking about this latest NPR article that is highlighting how many doctors are confused to why their ERs are swamped with seriously ill patients, predominantly very young people that are dealing with a tremendous increase of cardiovascular disease. Why do we have such a huge increase of cardiovascular disease amongst very young people? Well, we're going to answer that question all exclusively on LukeUncensored.com, as well as getting into some very important issues that are too spicy for this particular platform that we are on right now. And I hope to see you guys there later on today when this new exclusive video drops just for you. Now, there's a very interesting conversation happening in the United States right now, especially with government officials proposing a third invasive medical procedure for its citizenry, a procedure that even had top members of the FDA recently resign in protest because of what they detailed as an overzealous push by the Biden administration in order to try to ram through this third procedure on the American public, a third procedure that many medical experts and scientists aren't convinced of. Now, right now, there's a debate happening. There are some scientists and medical experts that do agree with a third shot, but the people criticizing it cite a lack of evidence, no long-term studies, unclear data, and confusion from the medical establishment that, let's be honest here, according to my own personal opinion, haven't been making a very compelling case here, as of course they previously told everyone that the first procedure was 100% safe and effective, and as we know, that's not the case. We also know that Dr. Fauci knowingly lied to the American public about gain-of-function research, and if he lied about that, what else could he be lying about? That's the question many Americans are asking themselves right now. But with the debate still ongoing, some members within the government, specifically within the CDC, are going as far as to even recommend a fourth procedure, which they say may be needed for, quote, immunocompromised people. Yes, in the United States, already an estimated 13 million Americans have received the third procedure, and now people within the federal government, within the CDC, are recommending and talking about the necessary need for potentially a fourth procedure. Where does this end? Well, obviously it doesn't. There's no plan for it to end. And now, private corporate intelligence agencies that have massive national security state contracts and have been known to be pioneers when it comes to invasive spying technology are now at the heart of a campaign trying to implement a digital domestic passport system that, of course, raises massive, serious concerns about civil liberties and personal freedoms in this country because, you know, If anyone's going to build a domestic passport system, it's going to be a shadowy military intelligence organization with secret government contracts called Mitri that, of course, works as a conduit for the intelligence agencies of this country. I mean, who better to create a track, trace, and database society that essentially eviscerates all essential forms of liberty? Now, I think it's fair to say that this is the point where a lot of people should be asking a lot of very serious questions, especially when it comes to secretive U.S. military intelligence agencies run by private corporations literally creating technology whose implications literally eviscerate civil liberties for everyone. This is a huge win for the powerful, the people in charge, and their dominion over their citizenry, and this could be why there's been such a strong push to make everyone comply with the government, as of course compliance with these kind of mandates will build people's acquiescence into, of course, a new social credit score, a new domestic passport system, a papers, please system, a surveillance system that essentially controls every aspect of your existence. This could be why Hillary Clinton is threatening the United Kingdom to implement stricter mandates. She did this just a few days ago, and now the United Kingdom's health secretary is announcing that he's going to be implementing stricter mandates. As now we're also finding out that 100,000 NHS staff could be fired because of the policies that have been pushed on by Hillary Clinton. And as we're learning that a lot of these zero sickness policies, whether in Australia, whether in Singapore, whether in Israel, whether in the United Kingdom, that heavily promote compliance, that heavily promote procedures and hoops for the people to jump through, have also been leading to situations that have had a dramatic increase in the actual sickness that they purport to fight. Meanwhile, the state of Florida, that has absolutely implemented the exact opposite of many of these insane zero sickness policies, have been thriving, as right now Florida has become America's lowest sickness rate in the entire nation, as of course the state there is strongly against any kind of mandates, lockdowns, and restrictions put on them by top fat cat bureaucrats, which they have opposed almost every step of the way. Florida is also offering police officers who choose not to comply with this mandate a $5,000 signing bonus to relocate to Florida and work there as police officers. And seriously, what Florida has been doing is absolutely instrumental when it comes to resisting a lot of this globalist nonsense every step of the way. This is one reason why I spend a lot of time in Florida myself. I absolutely love it there. The people are mostly free there. They have a ton of energy, a ton of love, a ton of compassion, a ton of fun, and it's almost the complete opposite of where I grew up in New York City in its current day modern shambles. So Florida is a really incredible place that has broken down the official narrative in many different ways, and in my opinion, it's one of the most special places in the world. But hey, that's just my own perspective, my own experiences. If you think I'm wrong, let me know why in the comment section below. If you dislike this video, click the dislike button. If you liked it, click the like button. I'm only here because of you guys watching and sharing these videos, and also because of my shirt store that is doing really well and has amazing products like this tank top, shirts, sweaters, hats that say Make America Florida, available in multiple formats, and has been adorned by thousands of people, predominantly because of you guys helping spreading these very important messages. This is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.